Hello everyone, today I'm going to read Dream March Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and a March on Washington by Nunda Matrix Nelson, illustrated by Sally Warren Comport. Dream March, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the March on Washington by Vonda Matrix Nelson. Illustrations by Sally Warren Comfort. Everybody has dreams. Some we share with family and friends. Some we hold in our hearts. On August 28, 1963, one man's dream was heard across the nation when the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a boy growing up in Georgia. He could not have imagined a day like this. People traveled from all over the country to Washington, D.C. They rode buses, trains, airplanes, and cars. Some walked over 200 miles from Brooklyn, New York. One man rode 698 miles from Chicago on skates. It took him 10 days. I'm skating to Washington for Civil Rights, 1963. NAACP. Over 250,000 people gathered in the nation's capital. Singers, authors, actors, government officials, and famous people attended, but ordinary citizens were the real stars of the March on Washington for jobs and freedom. People packed the National Mall from the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial. Young and old of every color, side by side, hand in hand. Many wore their Sunday best. They carried signs. They sang, "I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. We shall overcome someday." Black people fought for many years for the right to be treated with respect. In the 1950s and 1960s, Black Americans organized and fought extra hard. Their fight was called the Civil Rights Movement. Martins and others held peaceful protests against laws that kept Black people and white people apart. They fought for the right to attend the same schools and eat in the same restaurants. They fought to use the same bathrooms and drink from the same water fountains. They fought to sit on any empty bus seat and to have the same chance at a job. Wait, oh, sorry. Did I do it okay? Oh, here. Sorry. They fought for the right to vote. The protesters won some battles and new laws made things better, but black people were still treated unfairly. In 1963, activists Philip Randolph and Bayard Rustin, another civil rights leader, decided to take the fight to nation's center of power, Washington, D.C. The march organizers wanted to show President John F. Kennedy, Congress, and all Americans had many people believed in this cause. The Declaration of Independence says all men are created equal. The marchers wanted Congress to make sure everyone was treated that way. United, they walked together. Some were silent, determined, intent, yet hopeful. Most chanted and sang, beaming, joyful, their hearts light. The marchers crowded the malls, reflecting pool. Some took off their shoes and socks to soothe their feet in cool water. Others climbed trees for a better view. Lucky children perched high on shoulders. They looked toward the statue of Abraham Lincoln. It had been 100 years since President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which helped free the slaves. Why were black Americans not yet free? President Kennedy and other officials worried that the marchers might become violent. Thousands of police and soldiers were called out to keep order. There was no need. The March on Washington was the largest human rights rally in American history. There was no trouble. Martin had one of the strongest voices for civil rights. He had been jailed for standing up for black people. His house was firebombed by people who wanted him to stop, but he did not scare easily. Martin had a minister. He had faith, and while he could preach, when Martin spoke, it was as if he could read the minds of people and feel what was in their hearts. Our leaders gave inspiring speeches at the march. The Martin words on that hot August day made history. In the speech, Martin said black people were tired of waiting for their rights. He said, now is the time for justice. Now is the time for brotherhood. He said, no one is free until everyone is. Martin spoke forcefully with grace and dignity. His friend Mahalia Jackson, the gospel singer, called out, Tell them about the dream, Martin. He put aside his written words. Wait. I have a dream, Martin said, that little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. Martin had a dream that his children would live in a country where they will not be judged by their skin color, but by the content of their character. Martin had a dream that when children sing my country, this of the sweet land of liberty, the word rang true for everyone. He spoke of faith and truth, love and hope. Finally, Martin said, his voice like thunder, let freedom ring from every hill and every mountainside, from every state and every city. Let freedom ring, and if we do, people of all colors and all faiths will join hands and sing free at last, thank God Almighty. We are free at last. Marchers cheered and cheered, some wept tears of pride, joy, and hope. They would never forget this day. Many who had been strangers before the march were forever bonded by that moment in time. People all over the country watched the march on television or listened on the radio. They felt the spirit today too. They were reminded that all the people are meant to be free. Martin's dream wasn't his alone. It was a dream millions of Americans shared. Now his dream lives forever in the hearts and minds of people everywhere. The march for freedom goes on. 10 months later, on July 2nd, 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act into law. It was unclear whether the march on Washington brought about the passing of this bill, but it was a step forward in the civil rights movement in America. Author's note. The end. I hope you liked Dream March, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the March on Washington by Vonda Matrix Nelson, illustrated by Sally Warren Comport. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.